Hey everyone, welcome to the Mega Atlanta Radio YouTube page. I am your host, the only Kayla, and today I have a very special guest in studio. Today I have singer-songwriter Cristina with me.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for this cup of coffee. It looks so great, Superman.
So today we have her in studio because she has some really big news to share. Cristina, tell our listeners and our viewers what you want to share with us today.
So I will be performing at the Hawks game on Sunday at 6 p.m. I'll actually be starting kickoff. I'm kickoff as if it's like a football game, but no, I'll be singing the national anthem for Hispanic Heritage Night, and as a Latina, I'm so proud and honored to go and sing the national anthem.
Well, I want to say congratulations. That is big news. And, you know, I actually had the privilege of watching Cristina perform. And the first time I saw you perform was in 2020 when you did the halftime show for Hispanic Heritage Night at the State Farm Arena. It was insane. I mean, she put on one hell of a show. And it was crazy. She shut down the game, okay? Because that was the last game of the season.
Yes.
And I'll never forget.
And then 4 days later, we went on lockdown.
Exactly. So she shut down the game, the world. I mean, Atlanta was shut down. Okay?
I know. I was like, I remember walking out and I was like, oh my, it felt like a very post-apocalyptic energy leaving the stadium.
Yes.
I was like, because all I'm seeing are signs about COVID-19 and all these other things. And I just remember being like, nah, it's not going to last long. Like, I was about to go to LA and like promote my song, and it was a whole thing. And then the world stopped. And I just remember being like, you know, this is crazy, you know. But I mean, at least I can say I at least ended off the year doing that, I guess. So yeah, it was beautiful though. I loved it.
Yeah, it was crazy because, like I said, I was there, and I'll never forget. It was Hawks versus the Knicks. I'm from New York.
Oh
so
yes,
I had to be at
that was a big game though.
It was, and it was Vince Carter's last game too because it was the last game of the season, and it was very, like you said, post-apocalyptic because they had these signs like everyone has to leave right now, and then
oh my gosh, it was so crazy, like being rushed out, like, and then everybody was like, oh yeah, that was the last game of the season, and I just remember being like, no freaking way, and they were like, you made history. It was the last game before COVID hit, and I was like, wow, and then everything shut down, and then all I did was make TikToks for like 8 months straight. So you know, you balance it out.
So what was that experience like doing the halftime show for the Hawks and now coming back, being asked to come back to do the national anthem?
It's very surreal because I had gone through a very, really tough moment in my life for the last 2 years. I feel like everybody has. Yeah. And I felt very unmotivated and so just depressed and unhappy because I just didn't know. Like nothing felt the same. Nothing feels the same. You know what I mean? You like right before like that happened, I feel like we were living in this high in this moment, and then reality sets in that there's a pandemic, and now right now there's a war going on, and there's just so much, and it kind of just kept hitting and hitting and hitting that you get to a point where you just kind of feel like frustrated. And so I just remember a couple months ago, my manager hit me up and she was like, "Guess what?" And I was like, "What?" She was like, they asked you to come back. They want you to sing the national anthem. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you know, and it's just, it's a beautiful way because I'm transitioning from this place of being here in Atlanta to somewhere else, you know, and I'm really excited to start this new venture. And this is a great way of pushing me towards that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 2020 was hard for a lot of people, especially because I feel like, well, for me at least, and I know for you too in terms of your career, 2019 was going great.
It was great.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. I was like, can this not end?
Exactly. And
then so crazy.
2020 came, and it was like this dark cloud that was over us for like 2 years because the whole 2020 we were dealing with a pandemic, and then 2021 kind of got better, but then we were dealing with our own set of issues coming off of the pandemic. So it was just a crazy
getting rid of social anxiety because I feel like I've never experienced anxiety until after
the pandemic.
Even like I remember I used to love to just be around people and hang out. And then you spend 7 months in isolation and getting out there again is actually really hard. And so like, you know, it took me a while to just like not be weird in front of people. You know, and they were like, you don't act normal. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be normal again. It's so difficult.
So I know that as an artist, you have accomplished so much. I mean, you've been out for several years. You have been dominating in Atlanta. You are Latina, you are Mexican and Puerto Rican. And like I said, you've accomplished so much in your career. You've done so much. So tell me a little bit about what you do as an artist in terms of like the music that you put out for people who are just now learning about Cristina. What type of music do you put out? Like, or how would you describe it?
So, I've always put out like kind of bumping music, kind of like J-Lo's always been a really big inspiration for me. I always just wanted to dance on stage. I love performing. And so anything that was like kind of high energy, I always wanted to do that. But as I'm transitioning into like these new places in my life, you know, I just kind of like, I want to switch it up a little bit, you know, and I've been like kind of like looking at funky music, like funk, like jazz, like pop, like stuff like that I never really did before. But I mean, yeah, I've been in the industry for a while. I mean, I've had moments where I just stopped doing music for 5 years and then came back in, but I would have to say that the last 4 years of my life have been the most like transitional for me to like, I feel like in 2018 was when really people started to get to know me on a bigger level, on a bigger scale. And I was invited to go to so many different events and like red carpets. And, you know, I was taken more seriously as an artist because I felt like I knew what direction I was really headed in. So I really say that my career started like 4 years ago for me. You know, everything else before that, I feel like was a startup period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just really happy to be in this place because now I feel secure in where I'm at, you know, which is, it's hard for an artist to feel secure sometimes, you know.
And now I know that you were born and raised in Atlanta. Why are you moving? Like, why are you transitioning out? Do you feel like maybe you've hit a wall, or do you think that you've done all that you could in Atlanta and now
I've done
you're
everything here. I've done absolutely everything here. And I love Atlanta. I think Atlanta it's my heart, it's my home. It's at the end of the day, I think that's been the hardest thing for me is to leave. Because like, you know, you just get so used to it. You become comfortable. And like you probably moved from New York and you came down here. And it's that moment where you're like, you sometimes have to take the jump and the leap to create different spaces for yourself. And I tell this to a lot of my friends that moved to Atlanta. And they're like, why are you going to move? Oh my God. And they're like, people are moving here. And I go, you're not from here.
Right.
I'm from here.
That's
was
true.
like, but I have a lot of friends who grew up in Atlanta that are now living in LA, that are now living in New York, and they're thriving out there. And that's where I need to be. I need different space. I need a different like vision. I need to like just a different horizon. You know what I mean? Like that's what I need for myself to grow. Because if I'm not really challenged here, then I'm not going to grow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's like a lot of people that I know that, you know, want to move to New York, and I'm like, why would you want to move to New York?
No,
right? But I'm
facts.
coming from a place of like you said, you're born and raised in Atlanta. I'm born and raised in New York, so I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah,
with New
exactly,
York, right?
exactly.
But then I think about it in the other sense. When I came down here to Atlanta, everyone was like, why would you move from New York to Atlanta?
Right.
But for me, I had a different perspective on it, right? Because I came from a different state.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's the same thing for you, right?
It is.
You know, how I feel about Atlanta is like how you're probably going to feel when you move to New York and to
Yeah.
LA. And now I know you haven't decided yet where you want to move, but I know you're going to kind of plant your feet for a few months in one area, plant your feet in another for a few months. What is your goal when you go out to either of states?
Well, I have been transitioning into movies, and that's kind of been like a new love for me right now. I'm going to be starting a new movie soon, actually. One of my best friends is directing and producing it, and I'm so proud of her. Her name's Jackie Gonzalez. And I am going to be portraying a best friend in the movie as well. And yeah, I mean, I've just been working on like MGM films, NBC Universal films, and I've been working more behind the scenes. And for me, that's like me understanding what's going on. I like to study things. And so for me, going out to LA, it's kind of like, okay, I'm really putting my feet into this. Like, this is new, but I really want to try this out because this is different for me. I like to be challenged in anything that I like to do. I love music. I'm going to continue to do music. I want to songwrite for artists. And I want to continue to make music as well. But again, I just need a new space to be able to create the way that I want to create.
And to even be in a different, like you said, space where you can just tap into those different creative abilities of yours. Because if you're in the same place, sometimes you can become stagnant or you don't have anything drawing your inspiration. But when you go to New York and you go to LA, you know, you're going to meet new people, you're going to see new things.
Exactly.
And, you know, who knows what creativity is going to come from that.
Yeah, girl. I'm going to Hawaii, too. So I'll be like, I can't wait to have like a little hula vibe. But I'm just in this place where I you know, I'm having my Eat, Pray, Love moment. And I just want to have new inspiration for myself. And, you know, these 2 years took a lot out of me, and they took a lot out of everybody. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? Life is really short, and I I don't want to waste it any longer. I want to do things that make me feel good.
Yeah. So when you look back at your career and you look at everything that you've accomplished, all of the events that you've gone to, the red carpets that you were asked to be a part of, the award shows, what is something major that you would still like to accomplish in your life in terms of like your career?
Ever since I was a little girl, I've wanted to perform at Madison Square Garden. And I mean, I've been saying this since I was a kid. I mean, my dream was to perform at the State Farm Arena back when it was the Phillips Arena. And I already did that. But Madison Square Garden has been one of my biggest dreams. And also just having touring. That's one of my biggest goals too. And I know it's going to happen when God allows it to happen. So I'm letting the universe do its thing. I'm no longer forcing things into my life. I'm just letting them flow. Because the more you force things, the more it pushes away.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of letting the divine do its thing right now.
Yeah. And I think it's also a testament to people out there to never give up on your dreams because, you just never know when it's going to be your time, or you never know who you're going to, you never know who you're going to meet, or just anything like that. Like, and I always bring this up because I've been recently watching the Kanye West documentary. I don't know if you've seen it. But
no, I haven't seen it at all.
It's been so inspirational because I didn't know that he struggled for that long, and like how he turned from a producer to a rapper, and like really no one believed in him. Like literally nobody believed in him, and he was producing some of the biggest records.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I remember watching, I think it was a documentary a long time ago, but it was on YouTube, and he was talking about it. And I had known that he was a producer right before he was a rapper, and that was something that everybody knew in the game. And salute to him, you know what I mean? Other things, I don't know, but salute to him, because like it's a tough industry. It's not easy, man. Not a lot of people are gonna believe in you, and then like it's crazy though, because once you start doing things, those people that didn't believe in you, they want to hop back onto the wagon, and it's happened so many times in my life that I've noticed that like, okay, I'm doing so good in this period in my life. And it's probably happened to you too, where you're doing so good and you're like, you're doing things that like probably nobody ever thought you were going to do. But then maybe let's just say you're kind of like not moving for a while, right? Those people will not contact you again. You know what I mean? And so like you witness that in the industry, that not everybody's going to be genuine. Not everybody's going to be real with you. You know what I mean? And he has gone through it. You know, it's a tough industry, and it's honestly so heartbreaking sometimes.
So tell me a little bit about what you have coming up next. Like, are you going to be dropping a single? Are you writing on some records, an album? What are we going to expect from Christina?
My brother is my engineer, so, he's awesome. 222 Studios. He's awesome. Let's do the plug. He's an amazing engineer, and he's actually going to be engineering my EP for me. But right now I'm going to be working on a couple of projects. I'm still working on a couple of movies, but before I leave for LA, I'm going to be hopefully releasing a song that I wrote that inspired me. It was about my last relationship that I had. So I'm very inspired by that. And like, it's crazy how breakups can really inspire songs. Cause like when I was in the relationship, I could not write about anything. And then when we broke up, I was like, wow, this is great. Let me just write everything that happened down. It's just insane. So, I appreciate that.
I mean, look at Adele.
Exactly.
Adele, all of her music is really about breakups and heartache.
And I'm all about that. I'm a sad girl at heart. So like I'm sad all the time. But this record that I'm working on is very funky and like upbeat and like not, it's more about like just owning your shit. So we should hear that song sometime before you leave to LA.
Hopefully. Right? And when are you leaving to LA?
I leave for LA. Well, I mean, I leave at the end of April, but I come back. But then I'm possibly staying in June. So I come back for May.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very confusing situation, honestly. I'm kind of floating in the moment.
Okay, so before, you drop this EP and before we wrap up this interview, I want to know more about Atlanta. Like, now that you're leaving, what do you want to say to all your fans out there in Atlanta, to everyone who supported you in your career and your show? I know it's kind of like this bittersweet feeling.
That's so sad. Like, now I'm thinking, what do you mean it's so sad? I was like, oh, no, I get it.
No,
Yeah, it is like sad though, because I think for me, it was like, I always like would go to LA and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to live here. And then like, I'd be there for a week and I'm like, I'm going back home. You know what I mean? Because I have 10 siblings. I come from a really big family, and most of them are here, and my mom's here, and like, just in general, like, it's just hard to be so far away. But I realize that if I don't take this step, I'm gonna always wonder if I'm like, why I never took it, you know? So I'm so appreciative of Atlanta. I honestly am. Everybody here has, like, I know everybody, I feel like, and I feel like everybody's like, so it's like family, at the end of the day. Like, I've been in these streets for a very long time. I'm like a veteran. I remember somebody told me, they were like, yo, if you continue to do reggaeton from like 13 to now, you would be like the queen of reggaeton. And I was like, I was 13 when I started doing reggaeton. I was the youngest female reggaeton artist, reggaetonera, I guess you could say, in 2007. Like, wow, that was like oh God, don't look at my age. So bad. But like, yeah, it was a long time ago. And I have seen so many artists like kill it now in Atlanta. And it's so crazy to see because I'm just like, wow, like I'm so proud of how far we have come. It was so hard. And even he knows it was a very tough time back in 2007 to 2011. Those times where it was not easy for Latinos and it was not easy to like put ourselves out there. I mean, I'm just so happy that like, you know, Bad Bunny's coming into town and what arena is he going to be performing at?
State Farm.
State Farm Arena.
And Truist Park.
That's amazing. And like, I just remember Latino artists just performing at Gwinnett Arena, like most of the time over there. And like, to me, I'm just like, this is such a big deal, you know? Like, it's just how far we've come with Latin music. Honestly, it's so great. And how far we've come as a Latin community here in Atlanta. I am so proud. And I'm so happy that in some way I've made a small impact in that as well. And that, you know, I'm really happy with how far everybody's come. But at the same time, I'm like, I gotta go my own way, like High School Musical, you know?
Yeah.
I gotta go my own way, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta fly, but I'm so happy and I'm so, like, I love everybody here. So, you know, new friends, old friends, everything.
I know. Like I said, it's like a bittersweet feeling, I'm sure, for everybody.
I'll probably sob.
But everybody loves you, and everybody also wants you to soar in your career. So, you know, I'm sure everybody's very supportive of your next move in terms of...
Some people are. Some people are like, no, why you're not gonna
But that's because they want you to stay
I know.
here.
Like, I have some friends that are like, but no, like, it's stupid. Like, why are you gonna... I'm like, I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go.
I'll be back.
I promise. I'm going to be back for my birthday, probably. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, well, tell everyone where they can find you on social media and where they can also expect your single and EP, which is set to drop this year.
So you can follow me on at Christy Quinones, CRISTYQUINONES, and then through there you'll just find everything else.
Okay, awesome.
And TikTok.
Should be getting down on TikTok.
Oh my gosh. I never thought I would download it until the pandemic. And then my sister, who was 19 at the time, she's like, you ruined it now. Now I have to get off. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like,
I know, right? It's funny because I never thought I would download TikTok either. And I'll be honest, it was the first time in forever where I felt like I was the old person in TikTok. Like, you know, I felt like everyone was so much younger.
It's crazy. But now there's like everybody our age now is on it.
Am I too old for TikTok? Like, what is going on?
I know.
I didn't know how to work it. You know, like when you show your parents
right.
photos and they want to zoom
me
in.
neither.
Or they're like, who's that? I'm like, I don't even know. Just look at the picture I'm showing you.
I had no idea.
I was like, how do I use TikTok?
I feel like a true viejita. I was like, what is this? ¿Qué es eso? Like, you know, I was like so confused. I literally felt so old. But now I'm like a pro. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I used to do the dances a lot. Like, we're not gonna do
well,
it
make sure to follow Cristina on all of her social media platforms, and also make sure to go to the Hawks game this Sunday or tune in if you're not going to be there. She'll be singing the national anthem on Sunday at 6 p.m.
Yes,
and she's going to be giving one hell of a performance.
And if you see me, come by and say hi.
Mm-hmm. And she's not going to be giving you a Fergie national anthem. She is going to be giving you a national anthem. So make sure you tune in or make sure you buy tickets to that game. Thank you so much, Cristina, for stopping by.
Thank you so much, Mamas.
We here at Mega Atlanta Radio support you, and we look forward to what's coming next in your career.
Thank you, girl. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being amazing.
Thank you.